Good evening everyone, you're joining me live at Dicap Cooperative Public, second floor Pioneer Street Market, located at Reliance Street, Mandaluyong City. Dicap Cooperative Public is the home of certified life coaches. I'm Coach Shaun, I'm a certified life coach. I've been certified by the Life Coach Training Institute from Dallas, Texas. And one of my advocacy is life skills. Life skills are defined as psychosocial abilities for adaptive and positive behavior that enables individuals to deal effectively with the demands and challenges of everyday life. Ano po ba to? Life skills are your ability to be resilient and your ability to cope up with daily stresses and challenges and emotions of life. So today we will talk about a career talk, and one of the topics that we will talk about is integration or segmentation. So ano yung difference ng integration and segmentation in the workplace? I think one of the things that I've asked the audience right now is, how do you currently separate work and life balance? Kasi sometimes nadadala natin sa opisina kung ano yung mga issues natin sa workplace. And that's something that's becoming to be a challenge for us, na when you're at the workplace, you work there, pero pagdating mo sa bahay, nagtatrabaho ka pa rin. And that's one thing that I've experienced in time, and I was able to manage that when I came to realize that even if you invest more time with people or in the workplace, hindi naman natatapos yung trabaho. Yung trabaho continuous pa rin, na andun pa rin siya, patuloy siya. So the question there is, how do you balance it? How do you create a environment where your workplace is clear on the expectation that you've set for yourself, and it's clear kung ano yung preference mo. Now, there are some companies or environment that is really asking for more of your time. But for me, the question there is, what kind of tolerations can you take? How far can you tolerate the amount of time that you're spending in the workplace? Kasi kung nasisira na yung oras mo sa personal life mo and you're not able to take care of yourself, then that's already hindering your mental wellness or physical wellness. So you need to really start thinking about, how would I be able to move forward with that? So let's talk about first kung ano yung integration and segmentation. Sabi dito, this was a study by Ariel Rogers, who has a doctorate degree student, and also one is Larissa Barber, an assistant professor for psychology at one university in the USA. Sabi nila, the answer, if you take an option to mix work and personal life, the answer there will have a significant impact of how the quality of life you will have. Kasi at the end of the day, if you are okay bringing your work at home and you're able to, that's something that you can do effectively, then that's okay. But if it's affecting your relationship with the family, then that's already becoming a problem. So sabi dito, ang segmenter, if you set clear boundaries between work and home, you are a segmenter. Ulitin ko po, if you set clear boundaries between work and home, you are a segmenter. Sabi dito sa study, segmenters rarely bring work at home. Yan. They tend to answer emails only while at work and might keep separate calendars for their work and personal life. So ang ginagawa nila dito, meron silang 2 email addresses, and what they do is they separate it. Sometimes what they do as well is meron silang 2 phones, and they utilize that and they separate yung work email and personal email. So they're able to manage that. Now let's talk about integrator. Kung integrator ka, if you blend your work and home life, then you are an integrator. Sinasabay mo siya. Now, integrators might set up an in-home office. Yan, kung darating ka sa bahay mo, may opisina ka pa doon, tapos pagdating mo sa bahay, magtatrabaho ka, then that's something that you do as an integrator. You converse with your partner about work at the dining table and invite co-workers over at the house for a party. So, kung yung asawa mo, kinakausap mo pa rin and you talk about work, then you're an integrator. Tapos if you're inviting your friends at home, yun, integrator ka, na galing sa workplace. Now, the question there is, which is better? Mas better ba yung integrator o mas better ba yung segmentation? So, it depends on you. Kasi both segmentation and integration has benefits benefits and drawbacks, which we will talk about today. So, ano ba yung difference doon? Those who set clear boundaries between work and home experience, less conflict or experience less conflict between the two domains. Ulitin ko po, those who set clear boundaries between work and home experience less conflicts between the two domains. Bakit? In other words, segmenters are able to give enough of their time and energy to both the work and their personal lives in order to be successful. So yun yung ginagawa ng mga segmenters kasi nasa-separate nila yung boundaries between work and the workplace. Now, segmenters are also more likely to be mentally switched off from work. So, halimbawa, kung pag-uwi mo sa bahay, na you're able to switch off everything in the workplace, and that's clear to you, mas magiging maganda siya kasi madali mag-switch between the two. Like me specifically, I'm a segmenter. Because what I do, pagdating ko sa bahay, hindi na ako nagbabasa ng email. For me, that works. That works for me. Pero before, yun din yung ginagawa ko. Pagdating ko sa bahay, open ako ng laptop, magtatrabaho pa rin ako. But the problem there is, since may asawa ako, it's becoming a problem with my relationship with my wife and my kids. Why? Because the time that I should be spending at home is the time that I should be really investing my emotional time with my kids and my family. Kasi kung hindi ko nagagawa yon, then in the future, magkakaproblema ka because you won't get to really understand kung ano nangyayari doon sa anak mo and of course doon sa asawa mo. So, that's one thing that you need to be really mindful of is how are you able to work on that? Or if that works for you. If it's not, the question is, how can you move forward in separating yung segmentor or integrator? Now, let's talk about integrator. Sa integrator, also has its benefits because they experience less negative when the work creeps into their home life kasi sanay sila. So pag nasa bahay sila, kahit pinag-uusapan yung work or pag may tumatawag dun sa kanila, hindi nagiging problema because it's clear to them na they're able to mix between work and personal life. Okay lang sa kanila yon. Also, there are situations na baka may tumatawag sa'yo yung boss mo or yung tao mo, especially sa mga nagtatrabaho dyan sa contact centers na tinatawagan ng mga daling araw or umaga na natutulog. But if that's clear for you, then that's okay because you have clarity already on the expectations that you will have. Now, integrators feel less annoyed than employees who want to keep home and work separate. Yun ang sabi dito sa research na kung integrator ka and you're able to have work at home, okay lang, hindi ka irritable. Hindi ka ganun ka irritable kasi alam mo yung expectation mo sa sarili mo and alam din yung expectation ng family members mo sa bahay. So, namamanage niya siya at hindi ganun ka significant yung impact. Now, additionally, for integrators, work experiences are more likely to positively influence home experiences and vice versa. Sabi nila, yung positive emotions mo sa integrators experience at home influences employees' work lives by helping them achieve related goals. So, anong ibig sabihin yon? Pag integrator ka, nababalance mo lahat yung work life pero pwede mo siyang ipagsabay kasi you can shift towards the two without having any problems. Unlike pag segmenter ka, pag may tumatawag sa'yo na nasa bahay ka na, irritable ka lagi because you feel na yung space mo, that space between work and personal life, it's being impacted. So, again, both has positive and negative implications, but the question there is what works for you kasi sometimes people would ask and seek advice, especially for me, na paano ba, ano mang mas maganda? Is it better for me na I separate work and life, you have the balance, or is it okay for me to have work in the workplace and still work at home? So there's no good and bad out of the two. The question is, what's best for you? What's best in the workplace, and especially with the market that you're working with or the type of work that you have, ano ba yung requirement sa'yo? yung requirement ba sa'yo is to be on call on the time? Is that the expectation? Or hindi naman siya expected? There are some companies na after the work hours, hindi na talaga sila tumatawag. But there are some companies na wala namang nagiging issue. Okay lang naman siya. As I've said, of course, your preference for integration and segmentation might not align with the expectation sa workplace. Kaya dapat, yung clarity ng expectation mo and expectation ng workplace, dapat malinaw siya. Kasi kung hindi siya nasiset ng expectation at hindi siya malinaw, doon nagkakaproblema. If you're a segmenter, for example, who works with integrators, ayun, kung segmenter ka, gusto mo separate yung work and life, tapos yung boss mo, integrator, ang ginagawa niya, pag personal life niya, or pag non-work related time niya, work-related time, nasasabay niya, magkakaproblema ka talaga. Kasi tatawagan ka anytime. And that's giving problem on your expectation and what you wanted to do. Kasi doon pala, may disconnect na. So, how stressed or satisfied you feel at work is influenced by whether your workplace supports your preference for integration or segmentation. So, your fit with the organization is what matters most. Recently, we had a talk dun sa Coach Cafe, and we talk about how do you find the right company for you. Before you start applying for a work, ano ba dapat yung kailangan mong i-consider? And one of the things that was discussed there is, ano ba talaga yung gusto mo? What are the things that you want and what do you expect of yourself? Kasi kung clear yung expectation mo sa sarili mo and what you want, then you would be able to identify the right company for you. Kasi pag hindi siya clear, doon nagdi-disconnect, especially with your boss. So, right now, I'll give you 5 tips based doon sa study on 5 tips for striking the right work-home balance. So, paano ba pwede mong gawin? Ano yung tips? Regardless of your preference, ito, yung mga tips, pwede mong gamitin. Number 1, yon. The first thing is clearly communicate your preference. Yun muna. You see, in relationships, in personal relationship and work relationship, the important thing here is communication. Because if you're not able to communicate properly to your boss, kung ano yung expectation mo or ano yung preference mo, it will become a problem. Because there's always a disconnect na ganito pala, ganito ako, ganito yung gusto ko, pero yun pala yung hindi mo gusto. Now, one might argue, kasi ang sungit-sungit ng boss ko, hindi ako nakikinig, masungit siya, lagi ako napapagalitan and so on. Ang tanong ko doon, natanong mo na ba siya? Were you able to ask your boss kung ano yung preference mo and ano yung preference niya so that the two of you can align? Because if both of you are not aligned, then there will arise a problem. Magiging irritable ka lagi kung segmenter ka, gusto mong sineseparate yung work and life mo or your personal life space mo, and it's gonna become a problem. So that's one thing that you need to do. Communicate the boundaries between workplace and your home. Say for example, yung shift mo starts from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Kung clear na kino-communicate mo sa boss mo na 6 p.m. onwards, bahay ka na because you have some personal stuff to do, then you need to communicate that properly. Now, sabihin mo, hindi, requirement talaga ng boss ko ganito, then that's the time that you need to make a decision. Now, do you wanna tolerate that kind of environment? If yes, then you stay. If no, then what's the next step for you? Because if you continuously tolerate that kind of environment or that kind of boss, then how will your life be? Are you really living the life that you want to live? Or you're just letting other people push you around? So that's a thing that you need to consider. Now, second tip is use tools and technology in a way that matches your preference. Anong ibig sabihin nito? Kung segmenter ka, sinabi ko pa kanina, is what you can do is have 2 personal phones and you can separate your work email and your personal emails. I've seen a lot of people in the workplace that have 2 phones kasi sineseparate nga nila, they're segmenting those 2. I, on the other hand, I only use 1 phone because I'm an integrator and it's okay for me to have my personal email and my work email at the same phone. But what I'm very good at is having that space between kung kailan pwede akong tawagan at kailan hindi ako pwedeng tawagan. I've established to my people na tatawagan mo lang ako pag kailangan ako yung decision makers. But in other case, meron kasing iba na kailangan talaga which is okay. Hindi naman siguro araw-araw na tinatawagan kayo ng madaling araw. Me specifically, I work in a BPO industry. Morning shift naman ako, tinatawagan ako ng 12 midnight, 2 a.m., na masarap pa yung tulog ko. Pero it's okay because I've already set expectations on myself that that's something that I need to do because it's part of my role. You can also do on a technology perspective is yung virtual workplace. Ano pa yung virtual workplace is you can set up yung sa bahay mo na meron kang mini workplace doon that you can utilize. Tapos pag lumalabas ka na dun sa workplace mo, then you transition towards your personal life na. So that's something that you can start doing. The third tip is manage your time. Yan. Ito, I think this is one of the biggest challenges is time management, no? Especially in the workplace, ang daming urgent. Puros, kailangan ko to in the next hour, in the next 30 minutes. Ang question ko doon sa mga taong laging umuoo sa mga ganyan situation is, are you communicating or providing feedback to your boss? Baka naman kasi, pag hiningi sa inyo, umuoo kayo ng umuoo. Na hindi nyo na kinikonsider kung ano yung current workload nyo ngayon. So that's becoming a problem. Why? Because you're unable to communicate. Now, kung sabihin mo, I'm communicating that to my boss. I always tell them na ang dami kong ginagawa and so on. How do you communicate it? Paano mo pinapakita? Baka naman sinasabi mo lang, hindi nila nakikita. If you're able to articulate that properly based on data, kasi sometimes ang gusto ng mga bosses magta-time and motion study ka, na pag itong ginagawa ko, ito yung time na kailangan, you can do that as well. You can do a time and motion study to let them show na ito yung time na nai-spend ko sa ganitong trabaho. Baka naman kasi kailangan mo na ng additional na tao to help you. So, if you notice, as far as the three tips is concerned, everything revolves around communication. Because if you're not able to articulate that or communicate that properly to your boss or to your organization, then how would they know if you're struggling? Baka hindi naman nila alam. Baka sa kanila, okay lang kung hindi mo sinasabi. So that's one thing. Time management is very critical in relationships and in the workplace. Why? If you're able to block off time for you to focus on work and personal life, then that's you would be able to schedule that. Example, from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock, everything is work. But anything beyond 6 o'clock hanggang 10 maybe, because 10 o'clock matutulog ka na, that's your personal time na. But as I've said, you need to be able to communicate that expectation properly to your boss and to your organization. Kasi pag hindi mo siya na-communicate, it causes stress and exhaustion. Usually, madami dyan na sobrang napapagod na, then eventually, bigla na lang sasabog. Bigla na lang magwawala na hindi mo alam kung bakit ganon. Bakit bigla na lang nag-burst yung bubble niya. So, having that honest conversation with your organization and your boss is very crucial, because if you don't have that open relationship, then obviously you need to ask yourself, is that relationship making you grow as a person? Because if it's not, if it's detrimental to your health mentally and physically, then it's already giving you problems with your relationship. Then you need to think about, are you really living the life that you want to live? Or is really that workplace really helping you to be successful? The fourth one, yung tips na sinabi ng dalawang doctors dito is to manage your physical workplace. Ang sabi nila dito, if you prefer blending work and home life, you can hang up photos of your family, your friends, para at least na-feel mo na medyo balance siya, na ando pa yung mga family mo in your workplace. What I do in the workplace, ang naglalagay ako ng mga pictures ng wife ko, ng mga kids ko, para pag nakikita ko sila, nakakawala ng stress ng konti. At least nakakatulong siya because I'm able to pause and appreciate all of the things that I have rather than just thinking about all of the stresses, the negative things in the workplace. Kasi sa office naman talaga, hindi naman nauubusan ng trabaho, di ba? Continue siya. Kaya nga workplace. Kung walang work, di wala tayong kikitain. So, if that's clear for you, and if you configure your workplace na it would be able to help properly on as far as the workspace is concerned, then you do so. That would help. Now, if you prepare separating work and home, but you need to complete work at home, try to create a separate space for your work and only perform work-related tasks in that space. For example, kung sa bahay meron kang specific area na na-utilize mo as workplace, doon ka lang magtrabaho. Kung lilipat ka na, halimbawa kakain ka na, focus on your personal time, on your relationship. Baka naman kasi, pagdating mo pa rin sa kumakain, nandun pa rin yung laptop mo or tablet or your cellphone, tinitingnan mo pa rin, then that will affect obviously your relationship with your families. I remember one of my people, yun na yung nagiging issue kung bakit nagiging medyo hindi maganda yung relationship is because really the separation of time. And what I did is I coach him para maintindihan niya kung saan nanggagaling yung selos ng partner niya. And he was able to identify na okay, it's coming from a space where lahat na lang kasi ng oras niya sa bahay and even sa workplace, puros trabaho. So it's affecting the relationship. So a little tweak here and there helps a lot, and it helps strengthen the foundation at home. Last but not the least, ito naman doon sa mga job seekers. Yung mga newly graduates, March may dami na, may mag-graduate na ngayon. No? Or you're finding the right company for you. What you can do first before you apply for the company is research. Research first kung ano yung gusto mo. What are your values? Because the more you understand what your values are, the better it is for you to identify kung ano talaga yung environment na gusto mo. And once that's clear to you, then the next step for you is to identify what company or organization has the right culture and policies that gives you that kind of option kung segmenter ka or integrator. If you have clarity in that on what you need to do, then mas madali siya maganap. One of the things that you can do during the interview process, if you're in the interview schedule na, is to ask questions doon sa nag-interview. Like, what is this environment? Is this environment giving me the flexibility of work life? Am I required to be active during after office hours? So those questions you can ask outright para may clarity ka kung ano yung kailangan mong gawin and the decision that you need to make to move forward. Kasi kung hindi clear sa'yo yun, then it's gonna become a problem. So that's one thing na people would need to understand. I've listened to a lot of people, especially yung mga millennials. What they wanted is they wanted to have the flexibility of their time and the ability to be able to shut down specific to the work and focus on their personal lives. If that's something that you really wanted, then that's an option that you can ask. Pero yun nga, the critical thing here is you really need to investigate and you need to ask that question. Now, in technology right now, alam niyo naman yung social media and our ability with cell phones, madami nang pwede kang gawin sa mobile phones natin. And that's something na yung mga boss natin or the workplace is taking leverage on using that tools. Pero ang question doon kasi is, ikaw, as an employer, as an individuals, what do you really want to do? Ano ba talaga yung preference mo? Are you okay having your work and life at the same time? Or do you really want to separate those two? Kasi kung may clarity ka ng expectations mo, then you have clarity as well on the expectation, what expectation you can give in the company. Now, sabihin mo, kasi I'm already in that workspace where I love my job, I really love doing this, but my boss is not really giving me that flexibility. Babalik pa rin ako doon na have you clarified that with your boss? Have you clarified that with your organization? Have you talked to them? Kasi yung HR naman ngayon, they're very open in getting those feedback because at the end of the day, we want to make sure that they keep the right people in the company. Now, if you're being stressed right now because of the amount of workload that you have, you need to think about the workload. Baka naman kasi sobrang dami na talaga na you need to add more people. And that's something that you need to start talking with your boss and your organization. So, the takeaway here is, what are you tolerating? Are you tolerating the things, the kind of work that you're having right now? Kasi kung busy ka lagi sa workplace, if you stay more than 40 hours at work, then if that's something that you don't want, then it's becoming a problem. Then you need to start making a decision. You need to ask yourself, one, is it affecting you mentally? The work that you're doing right now, the amount of time that you spend at work, is it affecting you mentally? Two, is it already affecting your physical health? Nagkakasakit ka na ba? Lagi bang masakit yung likod mo, masakit yung ulo mo? And third, is that affecting your relationship at home? Because if it's affecting your relationship at home, then you need to already make a decision on how to move forward. At the end of the day, it's always good for you to be able to communicate your preference to your boss and to your organization. Because communication in a relationship is very critical for you to be able to understand and for other people to understand you. Because if you don't communicate that, then you're always gonna have problems in the workplace. So that's it for me. Thank you very much for watching my live today. I do this every first Monday of the month, and I talk about different topics in the workplace because that's my advocacy, is really life skills. So I hope to see you again next month. Thank you very much.